So I've been seeing a lot of people post things about socialism, like pro-socialism right now, and anti-socialism too. And I am really concerned about the things that I hear because it seems as if people just aren't thinking all the way, and it's troubling, it's disturbing. And if you've listened to any of my podcasts, you'll know that I am a big advocate and proponent of the idea of duality versus non-duality. And this whole socialism versus capitalism thing is right down that alley of duality versus non-duality. So let me just give it to you straight for a second, okay? The reality is that if we look at socialism versus capitalism as a dualistic thing, then there's always going to be conflict, and there's because neither system is ideal. Either system on its own will crumble. But if you look at it as a dualistic thing, as like the yin and the yang, then the two systems can work together. Just like in a relationship, if you have a masculine element and a feminine element, whether it's same gender or opposite gender relationship, the ones that work best are the ones that have the masculine and the feminine component to the relationship. And capitalism and socialism are the same sort of thing. You need capitalism as the sort of more masculine element of an economy, whereas socialism becomes the more feminine aspect of an economy. And so you have to have the two of them working in tandem. And they work best when, in times like this, capitalism has built up an economy that is international and sustainable and robust, and there's shipping and airplanes and cars and Tesla and just all these amazing things that have come about because of capitalism. People have raised out of poverty all the time because of capitalism. And there's no way to argue your way around that. However, uh, socialism has to exist because of times like we're up against right now, where we need to fall back and regroup. So we need to be thinking about, how we can support each other. If you think about, just to use the classic example of a mom and a dad, in the stereotypical sense, that dad's out there working the 9 to 5 and hunting and gathering and doing all that kind of stuff, and the mom is the nurturing one, and kissing the boo-boos and doing stuff like that, and making sure that people in the home have enough to eat and have clean clothes, and taking care of the actual needs. Now I know that I'm using the gender roles as a stereotype, but you understand what I'm getting at. The masculine and the feminine roles within a relationship, within a family. And capitalism and socialism are the exact same thing. So to say that, moving forward, we need to have a socialist society is really dangerous. It's really, really dangerous. You could say that moving forward, we need to have better equality between capitalism and socialism. Absolutely. Just like in a healthy relationship, the masculine and the feminine aspects have, they work in tandem. They're intertwined. They are, relate to each other. And they complement each other. And neither is trying to overpower the other, and each is trying to build the other up. So if you can look at that within a family unit, within a relationship, and you sort of extrapolate that out to the economic level, then you can see that capitalism should be working hard to support socialistic ideals, and socialism should be working hard to support capitalistic ideals. And what would that really look like? So in my mind, it would look something like, through capitalism, you could make sure that we have good social security systems or security nets to catch the people who fall through the cracks. Like right now, I'm trying to start a nonprofit organization to support elderly widows who are living below the poverty line and they got nothing. And they need the assistance that they can get. And so capitalism can be used to be able to build up systems like that, or to build up reserves, so that if there's ever, I don't know, maybe like a global pandemic, then, we have socialistic systems in place so that, like right now, the government can order companies to start manufacturing certain things that the society needs. Those are socialistic ideals. But then socialism can, recognize that without the capital and without the financial motivation to work, and without the sort of drive of capitalism and winning and dominating and all those other sorts of things that are the masculine ideals that are within a society, within an economic system, that socialism has to be able to support those things so that it can glean the benefits of that and be able to distribute the things to the ones that need it most. Just like the feminine person in their relationship in a family, bringing it back down, is going to take portions of the paycheck that comes in and make sure that the baby is fed, and make sure that the baby is has clean diapers and is nursed and is like all that kind of stuff, and takes care of the elements of the family that can't take care of themselves, that can't fend for themselves. And anyway, I started out talking about the rifts that I see, and it's really, really troubling. And I think that some of this stems from the fact that we have so many broken homes, and people growing up in fatherless homes, and we have a lot of men who are emotionally immature, and you have women who are emotionally immature and don't really realize how the masculine and feminine energies are supposed to interact with each other, and it causes lots of other things that spiral out into these other issues. And the more that we can start to realize that, and to integrate those sorts of changes in our own lives, the more we can start to see the positive results on the on the local scale, on the starting at the family scale. We start with the individual, and then the family, and then the local scale, and then the state scale, and then the national scale, and then the international scale. And then it goes all the way into economies, and it goes into every single aspect where those yin and those yang energies, the masculine and the feminine, the positive and the negative, that they start to do like a beautiful dance around each other, rather than being in conflict all the time. And that's where we need to go, So the next time you hear somebody, just bashing capitalism, think about that. Think about, what is it that they're really bashing, because they're doing it from their iPhone, or think about if somebody's bashing socialism, think about what are they really doing, because they're getting a government check to help them through a financial crisis, or maybe they're on Medicaid, or maybe they're getting unemployment insurance or something like that, so it's just important to have perspective, and anyway, those are my thoughts. If you like any of my thoughts, then go check me out on my website at SeanMurdochTalks.com. That's SeanMurdochTalks.com. I got a couple series over there. There's the Boring Dad Lectures, which actually aren't as boring as they may sound. I thought they were cool. And also Off the Deep End with Sean. So some interesting, fun stuff over there. A lot of things like this. This is the kind of shit I talk about all the time. So anyway, hope you enjoy it. Hope you're doing well. Keep washing your hands. Stay clear. Stay clean. All that stuff. Bye.